Man, that was a fun week, but I'm happy to finally be home from San Jose. You were gone for a week?
Let's go! Do you have a humiliation kit? This is all I ask you to do.
I'm having a great finger flick. You're allowed to show up.
This team is ruining my life. I'm taking crazy pills.
With you, wherever you are, welcome to LFR. Victory, puppies, Iggy! They beat the Ducks, and I was away when they beat the Kings. I missed you so much, buddy. My victory, puppy. Happy belated 10th birthday, by the way. Look at this. Look at this specimen.
Quack, 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 Mr. Gudis.
Leafs win 3-2 over the Anaheim Ducks. Leafs take 5 out of a possible 6 points in California and now have a 3-point lead atop the Atlantic Division. Let's talk about it. Listen, there's a lot I want to talk about with my trip to California, and we're going to do that tomorrow on the Steve Dangle podcast. Me, Adam, and Jesse, we're all back. We took the same plane. So we'll do it there instead of me yapping here in the LFR video for a game that I wasn't even in California for. I did wake up in California this morning, though, and then I came here, and now I'm back in the Blue Room. In that time, the Leafs have began and ended their California road trip. They had a comeback against the San Jose Sharks. You shouldn't need a comeback against a team that's like flirting with last place, but they had one, and they got a point. Anything but 2 points is disappointing in that scenario, but they could have had 0. Yesterday, they had the LA Kings. Was it a work of art? No. Was it a win? Yes. Should the Leafs' first goal of the game against the LA Kings have counted? Well, according to the rules from tonight, no. But according to the rules from last night, yes. Leafs end up winning it, and they beat one of the league's better teams. And then here against the Anaheim Ducks, the Leafs speed wobble a little bit, but at the end of the day, I thought they were the better team by at least some margin for most of the night, and they come up with the 2 points. So, yesterday, Austin Matthews with the high stick leading up to a goal. Not a high stick and then the puck goes into the net. It was a high stick before a goal. The kind of review that you almost never see, and the refs might have got it, I don't know if they got it wrong, but it's hard to call it right. And then hilariously, in this game, in the first period, it happens again. Mitch Marner high stick way earlier in the play. Austin Matthews with the disgusting dangles behind the Anaheim net. This was actually a sick goal that ended up getting called back. Matthew Nyes burying it. This kid might mess around and score 30. Brad Treliving's like up in the press box like, we got a contract to negotiate. He doesn't have to hit 30. Before they even started to review this thing, I knew it was no goal. The broadcast was hilarious because they're like, well, based on last night, this is a goal. And I was like, what, is this your first NHL game? That's not how this works. That's not how this has ever worked. You think the NHL cares about a little thing called precedence? They reviewed this for approximately 3, maybe 4 seconds, and it was called no goal. And a relatively uneventful first period starts winding down me. Sometimes players shine in special scenarios. Mitch Marner in afternoon games, William Nylander in Sweden, Nick Robertson after he's been healthy scratched, and Max Domi when he's playing Radko Gudas. This man fought Radko Gudas last year, a thing that I know all of Leafs Nation greatly appreciated. And on this one, Domi breaking in, get a map! How fitting that in the same town where they have Disneyland, Max Domi had Radko Gudas looking like he had just been hypnotized by Ka the snake from the Jungle Book. Like the fairy godmother put a spell on him. What's another? Oh, like he got mesmerized by Jafar's staff. When did snakes corner the market on hypnosis? Am I missing the point? Maybe. Maximum Domi! Gross move. And forget the move to get around Gudas. But, well, I could never forget the move around Radko Gudas. The finish on Lucas Dostal. Max Domi, production going up. See, we need you not in the box for an entire period. And the Leafs end the first period on a very high note. 1-0. Second period. Now, remember I talked about players being good in certain scenarios, that their superpowers come out in certain situations? Perhaps I should have thrown in there Simone Benoit against the Anaheim Ducks. Look at this from Hockey Stat Cards. The OEL Benoit pairing was immaculate in this one. Simone Benoit with the second highest game score in this game. I'm just looking at it. Gold goes to OEL, silver goes to Simone Benoit, bronze goes to Steven Lorentz. Just how we all thought. The Ducks have an odd man rush. Simone Benoit, L1R1. He lays flat on his stomach. He paws at the puck. You never see a defenseman do that, but Benny's willing to do anything. This is a true story. My son Leo, he's 4 years old. He's in junior kindergarten. He's very impressionable. For some reason, he decided he loves Simone Benoit. He decided this months ago. I had nothing to do with it. One day, I was just talking to Leo about all the little idiosyncrasies, the little quirks of all the Leafs. I told him about how the Leafs used to have a player named Noel Acciari whose nickname was Cookie, and he loved that. And then I was thinking about the things I know about Simone Benoit, and I was like, oh, Leo, guess what? Simone Benoit's favorite drink is milk, which is true, by the way. You can look it up. This 4-year-old, who it can be a struggle to get him to consume food and or calories at all, because 4-year-olds don't do what you tell them, demanded a glass of milk on the spot. And I said, the best I can do is a plastic sippy cup full of milk. And he said, that's fine. And he has been drinking milk ever since. Simone Benoit, I just want you to know you're a hero in this house. Anyway, so he did pretty good. That keeps the puck out of danger. Now, Mitch Marner says, hey, how about I put the puck into danger going the other way? He gets a breakaway on Lucas Dostal and... Ew, you reach, I teach. Just like Gudis before him, you reach, I teach. The Leafs are up 2-0. They are running away with this. That is how it's for sure gonna work. Nah, that's so rarely how it works in the NHL. Here's what I noticed about the Anaheim Ducks in this game. It is almost April. Usually by this time of year, the Ducks are unwatchable. Someone has to finish in the bottom 8, 7, 6, 5 in the league every year. It doesn't even necessarily mean you're an awful team. Maybe you're rebuilding, or there were injuries, or there were, whatever. You're not like a sad sack franchise. You are one of the bottom teams, but you're not a joke. The last few years, the Ducks have been a bit of a joke. Playing joyless, miserable hockey. That is not what I saw out of the Anaheim Ducks tonight. To me, they look like a team on their way up. Maybe not aggressively up, but they are watchable and competitive. Case in point, Leo Carlsson. The Ducks created havoc in front, traffic in front, making Joseph Wool's life hard. But creating the traffic is one thing. You gotta find the holes and put the puck in them. Leo Carlsson picks this corner. Look at this corner. How did he pick this corner? Rips the thing, beats Joseph Wool. That's the 20th of the season for the 20-year-old. They said that on the broadcast. I stole it. The Ducks have some really good young players. The Ducks have some really good young players coming. At the draft, they're probably going to draft some more really good players, young players. Oh, and they finally have goaltending. And after that goal, you definitely got the impression this game wasn't over, not by a long shot. Leafs still have the 2-1 lead. Third period, Leafs still holding on to the lead. Oh, Morgan Rielly takes a penalty. On that Ducks power play, you see there's some skill there. Their power play is ranked dead last in the league, but that's how you know the Leafs are about to surrender a goal to them. And then they did! Jackson Lacombe, who is underrated to anyone not playing fantasy hockey this season, in that case, he's probably saved your season. He gets an assist on this goal, his 29th. Zegras gets an assist on this goal, struggles season, but he's picking it up a little. It hits the post, the Leafs catch a break! Sam Colangelo buries the rebound. And the last ranked power play in the league erases a 2-0 deficit, and the Ducks have tied it. And it's barely over 2 minutes into the third. This has the potential to leave Leafs Nation out with a bad taste in their mouth after the California road trip, but more on that after. Who needs Jackson Lacombe when you have Simone Benoit, who picks up just his 8th assist of the season on this goal? What an unreal tip from Steven Lorentz. Look at this thing. Lorentz is, to call him near the net is like the moon is near to Earth. You know what? I was going to try to build on that. I'm so tired. I'm not going to. It's a good analogy. Work with it. But look at this. Look at the puck. That is not going anywhere near the net. And then all of a sudden, Dostal says, uh-oh. Puck finds its way to the back of the net. That's it. That's over. It's curtains. Not because Benoit got an assist, just his 8th. Kampf got an assist, just his 8th. And Lorentz got a goal, just his 7th. It's the fact that it was a Lorentz goal that you know the game is over. That is his 7th goal on the season. 4 of the goals he has scored out of 7 have won the game for the Leafs. They've been game winners. That's how you knew the Leafs were going to hold on. And I will admit, I did not always know the Leafs were going to hold on. Wool had to come up big at times. Nylander and Tavares took turns not scoring on an empty net. But eventually the clock winds down and we all have a Merry Christmas. Here's Steven Lorentz with the belt. Look at how happy. Look at the passion havers in this photo. Scott Lawton, we see you. And the Leafs take 5 out of 6 points in California. Questions. Why did 5 of 6 points on a West Coast road trip feel so incredibly painful to watch? This is the tricky thing with the Leafs. The Leafs do a ton of things that annoy me, annoy us, drive me nuts, drive us crazy, right? Drive us nuts. At the end of the day, it's the Leafs. Like, if you don't trust them, I think that's way more normal than trusting them. But here's the thing. They are, for all their flaws, still in it, with single-digit games remaining, still in the run to win this division. They are currently 3 points up, games in hand, yada yada. They're 3 points up. If the Panthers or the Lightning want to catch them, they have to catch them. They have to win. The Leafs, Lightning, and Panthers could lose all their games for the rest of the season, literally impossible, and the Panthers and Lightning wouldn't be able to pass the Leafs until they pass them. I think perspective with this team is so difficult. We want the team to play like every game matters, because every game does matter. But are some of us, as Leafs fans, not treating every game like it matters? Because even though we're watching every game and we're living and dying by every play, every goal for is incredible, every goal against is a failure, but the reason we react to the successes and failures the way that we do is because we're overlooking the regular season and we're just looking at the playoffs. We can't simultaneously not care about the regular season and just demand playoff excellence and want them to win this division. Those two things, you can't do that. They took 5 out of 6 points. Did they look excellent in any of those games? Nah. Depends what excellent means. What do we expect the Leafs to look like? The 2002 Detroit Red Wings just running everybody over every night? They had 51 wins without shootouts or 3-on-3 overtime. A record of 51, 17, 10, and 4. A goal differential of plus 64. Again, without 3-on-3 overtime. Even if the Leafs were that team, if they were that dominant in the regular season, the first 82 games of the season, would it make you feel better? You know you'd be watching game 80, 81, 82, expecting every star player, every player, doesn't matter, every player on that team, their ACLs, MCLs, friggin' WD-40s, their Achilles, everything's gonna snap. Listen, I'm gonna have some self-awareness here. Maybe we need to relax. Tough night for Gudis, eh? Yeah, oh no. Anyway, there were so many picks and interferences that Anaheim did to make us ice the puck. The bad one from McTavish on McCabe. Why do you think the Leafs refuse to do this kind of stuff? The refs reward it all the time. So the Leafs do this. They've been doing it more and more over the years. I still don't know if they do it enough. I don't really necessarily care if they're doing it in these regular season games against the Ducks. I do kind of care if they do it against Florida, and I definitely want them to be doing it in the playoffs. Again, don't have a short memory about these things. The 2019 playoffs, especially the 2019 Stanley Cup Final, where Craig Berube was the coach, those Blues took so many penalties. And you know why? Because they broke the rules a lot and often. Craig Berube got behind the podium and he said, "Hey!" And the refs went, "Yeah, all right, yeah, no, you're right." And then the Blues won the cup! I think they'll be fine in that regard. But you know what? Don't look at it as a negative for the Leafs. That's a positive for the Ducks. They're doing a lot of little things they weren't doing last year or the year before. Can we give Wool a pat on the back for a solid comeback game, especially that last play? Yeah, buddy. I was there in San Jose for the if you're a goaltender, 10 the goal moment. That was a tough one. Big game for Joseph Wool. I have no idea who the starter is. It looked like Wool for a bit. It's probably Stolarz now. Man. Odds are both these guys get into games in the playoffs, right? Like, we want it to be one guy. I just don't know. Well, what do you think? Leave a comment in the comment box down below. But for now, that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you liked this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell your friends. Steve Dangle Podcast in Toronto tomorrow.